Okay, time to spend some time on the bench. Got nothing left to fly as far as racing quads. This is my latest crash, and I pulled off with the receiver, the whole plug ripped off the top board, the flight controller. I don't think it's fixable. I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't trust it. So this one is out. Other than that, it's not in bad shape. I just replaced the top plate because it was broken. This thing went in pretty good, but no other damage. So that's needing a new flight controller coming from TBS. This is going to be a build in progress. This is a Chameleon. Nice little drone. It's brand new, just in the making. Some race spec motors on it. Betaflight F3 control board. Soldering this up apparently is a bit of a pain. We'll probably skip the entire PDB board because this actually has a built-in, so I can keep it just to one stack. Might do some of this tonight, get some of this soldered up. And this is the one that crashed a couple weeks ago. So this is how actually I got it back. The battery is on the bottom, it's completely crushed. Let me just grab that battery for a second. This is the battery from that flight. It's got lots of damage. It took a big hit on the bottom. It just completely moved the stack around. It'd probably take a sledgehammer hit to do this kind of damage. So yeah, it's done. Only one cell reads normal. So I'll just salvage the plugs and wires off this, but that's done. Not even safe to keep in the house. It's fire hazard. We'll get rid of that. So that was on the bottom of this. Camera was on top, but there's nothing left of that. The whole faceplate and the lens is just torn right off. Battery just came out. So that's also garbage. Other than that, it seems okay. I haven't fired this up yet. I mean, the props obviously took damage, but they're done. Not gonna bother using these again. But one of the arms is cracked. I'll try to glue it right here to see how it goes, but no, the arms, they're not even aligned. This one's actually, it's definitely not symmetrical anymore, and eventually it's just gonna break. So yeah, that's done actually. That's all it took. So it was maybe one more flight and a good hit and it would have been finished. I've had lots of vibrations on the camera on this. I thought the camera was damaged, but this arm may have had a fracture for quite some time. Anyways, now it's time to change it. I've got a spare. Been sitting on the shelf for a few months, but now it's time. So I will just use everything I have on here, and I guess I should have fired this up to make sure it's working before I broke this off. And we'll just bolt everything onto this frame, and hopefully everything's still usable except for the props. Don't know if the FPV cam's good. It should be. The transmitter doesn't look like it took a hit. But it also laid in the rain overnight, so who knows. So maybe I will just get this into place and see if this thing will actually bind to my radio and see if it will fire up. I'll just put a stiffener on this. So I've taken this apart, and you can't really tell how much force everything took and the actual condition. There's no moving parts in here. But when I do plug it in,
signal critical telemetry lost.
when I do plug it in, it just seems to have a really bad connection. It's probably the whole main going in. It really doesn't fire up properly here. Something's not right. See, you can wiggle this.
Telemetry recovered.
Everything's got power now, it seems. If I arm it, actually all the motors are running. They don't seem entirely happy. This thing did lay in the rain all night. A little bit of throttle here. It sounds fairly reasonable. This one is not really attached. I'll just pull the nuts off. These little prop nuts, because they're going to spin off when I spool these things up. But it looks like it's responding. Everything's working. I'll check the video to see if we actually have video feed still. That's it. Armed, a little bit of throttle. I'll do some turns. So it looks like the control board is still responding properly. I'm gonna check the video here real quick. It looks like I have video feed. Again, I have no idea how reliable it is, but everything seems to be functioning at this time, so I'll take it apart further and start transferring stuff. And then I'll just have to do some test hovers and gently take it out further and see if the stuff is still okay. Not something I like to do. I like to just replace everything new, but sometimes that just becomes a bit of a costly way to do it. So this is pretty well apart. I can just move everything over onto the other frame, which is here. Got a big mess of parts happening here. I really don't need to use much of this. I may use this because those LEDs have blown out long ago. What I'm after is pretty well just the that. That's all I need to replace at this point. I think the rest is actually usable.